democratic mandate to represent people. They represent people's interests and people's concerns and have the legislative power to engage in mitigations and bring forward better policies to fight and bring an end to climate change. The International Meeting of Parliamentarians in Dhaka features parliamentarians from more than 20 countries in the world. They have united with the slogan "One Voice, One Goal" to combat climate change.
Parliamentarians in every parliament in the world can give a voice to issues. They can put items on the agenda, they can ask for knowledge, they can organize hearings, they can ask international organizations to put things on the agenda. For instance, Women and Climate Change has been asked by women's groups to be on the agenda.
In policy terms, we had an environmental report done by the Parliament's Climate Change and Environment Committee in 2005. That laid the political basis for cross-party action. In 2009, our Climate Change Act was world-leading, both in Scotland and the UK. There's been a strong parliamentary commitment to legislate on climate change. Our Climate Change Act specified that we would accept the science, that we'd give ourselves targets, and the particular targets, I think, are the 42% reduction in CO2 emissions by 2020.
The people should be more concerned by developing, the social awareness. Capacity building can be by social awareness. So the parliamentarians are very much important tools that they can convince their constituents by giving some ideas about what will be the responsibility of the constituent to come up from that problem area by which they can be survived.
The government has to provide an alternative, like employment measures to them, and government had to really, by providing them an alternative towards the employment measures, providing them is like unemployment allowance. I think that is one of the area where they cannot have to, search for their livelihoods in the forest by cutting down the trees. So I think this is how. And another source of thing is, the government, our government, especially the Nepal government, is providing more support towards the renewable energy. Most of our villages has got now solar panels, and so this kind of supports that the government has already implementing. I think this is some of the positive steps that our government have initiated.
With the Hyogo Framework for Action being adopted globally, right away the Philippine Parliament as well passed two major legislations. This is the Climate Change Act. That mandated the creation of a Climate Change Commission. It's headed by the President of the Republic to review policy strategies and come up with an action plan that will ensure mainstreaming of climate change adaptation in all government agencies, both central and local governments. And in 2010, we likewise passed the Philippine Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Act.
We came up with some basic policies and strategies. We came up with energy conservation policy. We came up with wetland and rangelands policies. We came up with forest policies. We celebrated 2009 as Environment Year. We incorporated in syllabus and curriculum environment as a subject for school children as well. So they should get awareness in it. We came up with some basic legislations as well. Endangered species is another part of climate change, and endangered species, animals and birds, we came up with legislation that they should be protected.
South Africa has already committed itself, like what the developed economies have done, to say that by 2020 we would have reduced emissions, by a certain percentage, and that very few countries in the developing world have done that. That's just a first indication of our proactive and commitment that we'll do that. Beyond that, we are also looking